Hey, I'm Lil and welcome to Bullet Journaling Basics. So over this week I have 7 videos for you covering what I think are the most important aspects of starting a journal. I've been bullet journaling for 4 years now and I've built my entire business around it. BUJO is like my life. So I really hope you get something from the course this week, and you can come join us if you haven't already over on the Facebook group, the BUJO Cult. I'll link it in the description below, and I'll link Instagram, come find us there as well. I mean, I say us, it's just me. Follow me on Instagram. So yeah, I'm rubbish at intros, so let's just do the thing now. So a bullet journal is a tool. Bullet journaling is a note-taking system developed by Ryder Carroll. He describes it as tracking the past, organising the present, and planning the future. And he actually has a whole book on it, which I haven't read yet. Bing! Look at that! I was worried about this space here, but actually I feel like this is weirdly like I'm treating it like some kind of religious text, which it is. So by the time that book came out, I had been bullet journaling for a few years already, and the amazing thing about bullet journaling is that you develop your own system over time for what works for you. It starts with these basic instructions, and then you develop it from there into your own personal system. So my brain is chaos. I'm a mum of 2 and I have 1.5 businesses that I run, and I have a plethora of mental health issues. So bullet journaling has helped me get a diagnosis that I was struggling to find and work out for years, start up my businesses and run them with some success, I think, personally. I'm awkward with success. It's actually easier when things are failing, because anxiety and your brain's programmed yourself to think that that's normal. And then when things go well, you're like, it's a trick. And it's generally helped me keep a handle on everything. My house still looks like an episode of Hoarders, but you know, we'll get there. It's fine. So let's move on to the basics. Most bullet journals are in dotted notebooks. They just really suit the system. They're easy to use. You can draw grids really easily or write in straight lines. But any notebook can be a bullet journal, and in fact even binders work really well because you can remove the pages. If you're a perfectionist and the idea of messy pages or something just affects you, then you can just take them out as you go along. Some people even bullet journal digitally, which if that works for you, that works for you. I will say there is quite a bit of research on how physical writing can be really helpful for the brain processing things and all this kind of stuff. But then if you have an Apple Pencil and an iPad, that's kind of physical writing anyway. I don't know. Starting out, my huge recommendation would be to have a notebook, a physical notebook. Learning to embrace my mistakes has helped me to become less of a perfectionist over the years and made me less judgmental of my own stuff. It keeps things simple and it gives you a really good foundation to work from. But you do whatever is right for you, and feel free to change it up and stuff if things feel stale or boring or it doesn't seem to be working for you. Try something different. So bullet journal setup. Most bullet journals start with an index page. The idea is that you can quickly find any notes from any days just by looking at the front of your journal. And this can be really useful when you have stupid amounts of them. Confession though is I've never been really very good at keeping up with the index stuff, and there's been several times I've really regretted it because it would have been useful if I had. I'm gonna keep trying to keep up with it, but oops. Then after your index there's what's called the future log. I find this a really important spread to have. This is the place where you can note down any important dates that are going to be happening in the future. So let's pretend it's January when this video series was meant to come out. And you know that something is going to happen in May, which is when this video series is kind of coming out. If it's like an event that you want to go to or something, then you can just like jot it down there and you don't need to think about it until it pops back up again. Noting down birthdays there is great as well. I forget birthdays a lot. Any trips you might be taking. all of that good stuff. After the future log, I like to lay out some trackers that I know that I'm going to use for the whole duration that I'm using the journal. For me, that's usually a goals page. There's going to be a whole video on setting and achieving goals using the bullet journal method. I usually also have some kind of savings tracker and a bills tracker to remind me on what days things are coming out of my account, and I use a sticker sheet of mine for the savings tracker because I'll do anything for stickers. It's also really great to include something to perk you up if you're feeling low, especially if you have and there's going to be a bullet journal for self-care video and a bullet journal for mental health video this week as well, because they've been really important to me. I also then have a couple of pages that are dedicated to some kind of work trackers and anything to do with the home as well. If I've got a tracker going on for housework, or a tracker for like things that need fixed, things I need to buy, or and this time I've put in like a plant care kind of snail care one. And I want to kind of make it clear here that I might not use all of them. I am notorious for leaving trackers completely empty and blank, especially housework ones. So when I start a journal, there's a few trackers that I know I will use. I've used religiously in the past, and there's something that I need in my journal. And I'll look at my old journal and think, I never used this tracker, I'm not going to put that in, and I'll drop that. And I won't put it in the new journal. And then sometimes as well, I'll add in new ones, things that I want to try or things that I think maybe need another shot, and see if I can do them now. So if this is your first journal, you might want to try just chucking everything at the wall and see what sticks. 1,000,001 trackers, see what ones you want to use and keep up with and stuff. But for some people that could be really overwhelming. Or it might be quite disheartening when you're not filling them all in and they're not all looking all beautifully Instagrammable and pretty and all that stuff. So if you want to just keep it simple with no trackers and just build them in as you go along, then that's also awesome to do what works for you, and don't beat yourself up about unfilled in trackers and stuff. We all have them. So next up we come to the real meat of the bullet journal system. I'm a vegetarian. Next up we come to the protein of the bullet journal system. The Satan of the system. The Satan system. And that starts with monthlies. Most monthlies are set up like this, with a title page, a calendar of some kind, and then some kind of list of goals or tasks to complete that month. A lot of people might also put trackers here, like reading trackers or exercise trackers or something like that. If you want to, you can get super fancy here with themes and elaborate drawings and beautiful stickers and collages and sexy layouts. Or you can have it just as simple as it needs to be. It's what works for you, and sometimes you have to try all of the things to find out what that is. Oh, tea. The function of it is so that you can plan out your tasks and see at a glance how your month is looking. So this is where you might want to note in like deadlines, trips, birthdays, anything like that. So next come weeklies, and just a quick note on the bullet journal system. Let's take one of my nails off just to change the battery. So the traditional bullet journal system uses dots for tasks, circles for events, and a dash to show notes. And then you cross them out as they were completed, or score them all through if they're cancelled. But bullet journaling is a tool, and it's your tool. Okay. So personally, I use boxes for tasks, I use circles for events, and I scribble notes wherever there's space on the page. Or sometimes on like the nearest piece of paper if my bullet journal's not to hand, and then I'll stick it in later on or something. The point of the journal is to have all of your things in one place. So it's your calendar, it's your diary, it's your note-taking book. So instead of having things spread out through loads of different notebooks and loads of sticky notes and all of that kind of stuff, you've got it all in one place and you know exactly where to find it. That said, I know lots of people who have several different planners on the go at one time, and it seems to work for them. But it doesn't need to be neat unless it helps you. It doesn't need to be aesthetic unless it helps you. It needs to be whatever you need it to be. So the weeklies. Some people don't do weeklies, they skip them and they go straight into like their daily, rolling daily tasks things. But I need these babies, they really help me. A weekly spread is kind of the same as a monthly. You lay out your days and you lay out maybe like a task list, goals for the week, a tracker, anything like that you might need as well. And then that means you can note down what's coming up that week, what you need to do each day, stuff like that. One of the things I've done before is have like a really small weekly on one page, and then if I have loads and loads of tasks that I know aren't going to fit into nice and neat boxes, I'll do what are called rolling dailies, which means that on Monday you write Monday and the date, and you note down all of your tasks for the day and any notes you need to take. You just do them as you're going along. And then when Monday's finished, on Tuesday, you write Tuesday and the date. And it means that, say you have loads of tasks and loads of notes to take one day, you know you're going to be on phone calls and all of this kind of stuff. You can take up as much space as you need in your journal. You could have an entire page or two just for one day. And then the next day, maybe you only need 3 lines. Whereas if you have a weekly spread, you're stuck to these kind of fixed boxes to fit stuff in. But it's whatever works for you. If I ever have merch, I think that would be it. Maybe I can make badges. I have a shop. What am I talking about? I make merch. It's not like YouTuber merch, you know what I mean. So I do both big weekly spreads or I'll do small weekly spreads. It kind of depends on what I know is coming up for the week. Let's face it, not much is happening. And I just don't need huge amounts of space, so I just stick to weekly layouts right now. So now we're on to dailies. So here you plot out all of your tasks for the day and you check them off as you go along. It's basically just a to-do list, a fancy to-do list. And you can get totally complex with fancy little tracking stickers available in my shop just now. But there is no point in any of that if you're not achieving your basic system. You don't need fancy pens. You don't need to learn calligraphy. You don't need expensive washi and stickers. I mean, yes you do. And my Etsy is linked below. Yes, you do. You do. All you need is a notebook and a pen. Washi is really cute though. I'd cut a pitch for stickers. Ryder Carroll and the original bullet journal method actually has a bit of a system for migrating tasks back and forth and stuff, which I don't use in the same way. So I would definitely recommend giving his video a watch. I will link it below, and it goes over his bullet point migrating system thing. I'll go into my system in a lot more detail in the next few videos, but this is kind of a basic overview. I have all my tasks for the month and they're usually taken from my goals, plus in, you know, the general life stuff you have to do. And then each week I'll be working towards completing them. So I'll note down any daily tasks, cross them off if they're completed, or I'll put a line straight through them if they're not relevant anymore. If I didn't get a task done that day and I need to migrate it onto the next day, I'll pop in a little arrow just to show that I've done that, and then I'll pop it down and make a note of it in the space for the next day. If I know I won't be able to do it the next day because I'll be out all day or whatever, then I'll either go to the next day available that I could do that task in, or if there's not going to be another space that week for it, I'll either make a note of it in like a little for next week kind of section, or I'll go back to my monthly task list and I'll put a note of it there. Or if I have like all of my weeks set up, I can do that, but you know, I don't usually have all my weeks set up. So tomorrow I'll go over how I use the system to complete my goals and goal setting in general, and what's a good goal and a messy goal and a bad goal and stuff like that. Your bullet journal is a tool to help give you clarity and achieve the things that you want to achieve. It's not going to do that for you. It's not some magical fix-all. It's a tool to help you get your brain straight. Straightish. And to track and plan your life. So I hope this video has been helpful to you. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. I'm starting up doing videos again, so after this week there should hopefully be weekly videos coming out. Find me on Instagram at BUJO Cult. Join us in the Facebook group for general community. I love you. Yeah, join us in the cult for... Join us in the Facebook group for general community-ness. So I'm bad at intros and I'm also bad at outros, so I'm just gonna leave it here. I'll see you tomorrow and I love you. Bye. As one video down, I just need to go and record the next 7. Oh no, 6. I can't do that.